Hello to all of you. My name is Dale Ruther. I'm a partner at Boulder Markey Proprietors Company. I'm here today to talk about the Payroll Protection Program, or as we know it as the PPP loan program. The program was started by the federal government in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Basically, I break the PPP program down into three parts. Where have we been? Where are we at? And where are we going? Where have we been? The PPP loan program was started to assist businesses in keeping employees employed on the payroll and to help businesses with certain operating expenses such as rent, utilities, and mortgage interest. Sounds simple, not so fast. The first step was to calculate the loan maximum under the formula in the CARES Act. The loan formula was basically 2.5 times the average monthly payroll based on calendar year 2019 or the trailing 12 months. This brought many questions going forward. What did payroll costs include? Payroll costs included wages, salaries, commissions, tips, severance pay. It also included group hospitalization and retirement plan contributions. This brought about more questions, including, can you have bonuses in this? How do we calculate retirement contributions if it's not a 401k matching program? How do we calculate hospitalization if it's a self-insured program? And can you give hazard pay or any other kind of incentive pays during this period? What was the time period used to calculate the average monthly payroll? Again, as we previously stated, it was calendar year 2019 or the trailing 12 months at the employer's election. How do you maximize your loan amount? The loan amount contained a certain following items. First of all, it didn't include people who made annually in excess of $100,000. How do you calculate the loan amount for partnerships and sole proprietors? There was specific guidance issued by the SBA to tie to tax returns that were filed by these type of entities to determine the amount of the loan that would be the maximum amount allowed. In addition, there's an interim rule that actually tied the different costs allowable under the PPP loan to your tax return. So that is how we got to the application process. But then the fun really began. The application process was hurried. There was a multitude of problems, including an antiquated system used by the SBA to process the loan applications. The banks did not have good communication with the SBA in terms of how we would get the information into the system. And the fact is that just because it was a new program in and of itself, it was difficult to get it off the ground and running. Then we had the mad rush to the line of the PPP. The concern was that we would run out of money, which the program did. Frustrations boiled over between customers and the banks and the SBA, and customers and their advisors. Was there going to be a next round of funding? Why did certain companies get the money? Were the right companies getting help? Well, we hit the pause button, regrouped, reset certain rules on allocation of funds to small businesses, rural areas, minority businesses, and another round of funding was approved by Congress. So now we have $349 billion of funding in round one, $310 billion funding in round two, and it went much smoother through round two. And in fact, there's approximately $130 billion still in the fund going forward. In addition, money has been processed and deposited into businesses' accounts much more quickly than in round one. And the SBA has provided guidance on whether a company needed the PPP loan or not under the liquidity rules. The SBA has indicated they will audit all loans over $2 million and a sample of those under that amount. In addition, all loans under $2 million had a safe harbor for the liquidity certification that was to be given on the application, while those over $2 million have to still prove the liquidity certification. However, they are not going to be subject to criminal or civil prosecution should they flunk that requirement. Rather, they will just be asked to repay the loan. Where we are at. Well, we got the money, now what? Loan forgiveness is now the focus. This is considered a loan program, but it's really a government grant program. And the way governments and nonprofits look at grant programs, which are managed as well as their objectives, is different than for-profit institutions do. Governments and nonprofits have a financial and social mission, while for-profits are more focused on financial performance and return on investment. For that reason, both sides need to have an open mind as we continue to administer this program and work through the pandemic. So now the final point is, where are we going? As we continue to look forward, the following things is what we should expect. Number one, additional guidance from the SBA. Number two, look for a change in the tax treatment of the expenses that were forgiven. The IRS came out with a notice, 2020-32, which indicated that those expenses would not be deductible, but there is a bill in Congress right now where they're trying to overturn that and allow those deductions just like normal. Number three, look for an extension of the forgiveness period from the 60 days. The HEROES Act, which just got introduced into the House on Monday, had a provision in it that it was going to allow the forgiveness period to go all the way through December 31st, 2020. So I expect an extension on the forgiveness period to be considered. Number four, I believe, look for them to simplify the documentation requirements. They've done that with the $2 million audit threshold. I believe basically that they'll be looking to ask you to say, okay, during the 60-day period, you can get 2 months rent, 2 months utilities, and 2 months mortgage interest. Prepaying certain expenses, doing anything like that to accelerate deductions into that, I think may be looked upon unfavorably. Now we have to wait again for the guidance from the SBA, but I would expect that they will look to simplify that piece of it. Same thing with the payroll. I look for them to simplify the payroll based on the payroll, how you pay, such that if you had a weekly payroll, they're going to allow you 8 weeks of payroll during the forgiveness period. I don't know that they'll look to match up payroll to payroll what the exact dates were, but they'll allow you 8 weekly payrolls, or they'll allow you 4 biweekly payrolls, or they'll allow you 4 bi-monthly payrolls, or they'll allow you 2 monthly payrolls. I believe, again, they're going to look to simplify that. Conclusion, the PPP loan was quickly put together to battle the pandemic. Therefore, while there's very much frustration, there's really nobody to blame. The government wanted to get the money into the economy. They wanted the businesses to feel that they had support to continue getting their business operating and stay or remaining profitable. And lastly, the individuals were nervous as to what was going to happen to them going forward. The PPP program and the money distributed will have different effects, as I indicated earlier, based upon what your sales volume are. The key to life, I believe, is this. I have 3 rules I use when working with athletic teams, work teams, nonprofit boards, at work with our staff and clients. And that's basically, there's 3 rules that I have. Number 1, do the right thing. Number 2, do the best you can do. And number 3, treat everybody with mutual respect. So I would ask the leaders of the organizations to look at these rules, write a memo as to how you utilize the PPP funds, and if you've got any kind of incidental benefit because your sales volume were able to stay at the same levels they were before, what did you do with those other monies? And did you provide something that did not inure to the benefit of the highly compensated employees? Because I think that shows good faith. We're all in this together. It's very important. If you do that, I assure you, this will allow us all to come together and overcome this most important manner. Together, we'll get it done. Thank you.